when you come to a point where you think that there's something wrong in your life, you have to seek God as to what He wants you to do. And if you have a particular problem, and you give it to God, you might find out that His solution is the reintegration of the family. What does that mean? Let's say you're having some kind of problem in your life, and the Lord says the solution to the problem is through your parents that you're estranged from, or through a sister or a brother that you're estranged from, or maybe the Lord says something is shocking to you, such as, in the West anyway, as shocking to you as, well, your older sister might have something to say that just the fact that she's older than you should mean something. How shocking. Do you understand what I'm saying? The family's damaged. There's safety in a functioning family where there's authority, where the family works. I mean, some families don't work. I'm not telling you to submit to a family that doesn't work, but if the family works, it's a great thing. When the members of the elder members of the family get together and deal with problems of the other members of the family. But then you lose your freedom. Then you have to acknowledge that even though you're maybe 30 or 40 years old, that there's still someone in authority over you in the family. That's not very in today. That's not savvy today. See? I had an Italian man tell me once, he ran the deli across the street from where I lived when I lived in Queens. The man had to be 45 years old. He told me that if his father walked into the store that day and slapped him in the face, he would just stand there and say he was sorry. Okay. Well, that's terrible. Sheila was 45 years old. Brethren, I'm telling you that there's power in established authority. And when the family is functioning, if the eldest member is off, the other members will rise up and deal with it. If it's functioning, if the family's functioning. See? I don't go for this stuff that you're 18 years old now and you do whatever you want. You know? I'm sorry, I don't think that's God. That you're 18 years old, so it's your decision and you do whatever you want. No, that's a lot of baloney. Okay? That's not how the family operates. See, the first time I heard that, I was shocked, but to me, it was just another thought. And this was about 6 months ago that I heard that for the first time in one of the families of this ministry. I said, oh, wow, man, maybe I was just raised differently, but I didn't take it any further until right now the Lord just spoke to me. He says, no, it doesn't work like that at all. It doesn't work like that at all, that you do whatever you want because you're 18 years old. No. Especially when you're still living in your parents' house. And in families that are fully functioning, even after you move out of your parents' house, your parents have something to say about your life. You're not a complete free agent. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? You need to understand that 18 years old is very young. Very, very young. See? And hopefully your children that reach that age will be willing to take your advice. But if they're not willing to take your advice, you, her father and her mother, you are the arbiters, or his father and mother, you are the arbiters of what is right and wrong in the lives of these young people in this very dangerous age. And you have two areas of legitimate authority over your children that you should not give up because they reach some hypothetical or some arbitrary age of 18 years old. As long as they live in your house, you have authority over them. If they don't like it, they have to leave. If they cannot afford to leave, then they have to like it. And if you're still supporting them, you have authority over them. And if you think they're doing something wrong, you have every right to say, I do not want you to do it. We love you, but these are the rules for living in our house and are continuing to support you. The day you support yourself, if you decide to get your own place, then I will still tell you what I think, but I will have no way to enforce it. When the day comes that you have no means of enforcement, then it becomes an issue for that person, however young they are at the time, between then it becomes an issue for them whether or not they believe in the sanctity of the family. Now, I'm not talking about controlling your children. I'm not talking about control. I'm talking about a legitimate authority that doesn't control. It's a protection. It's a protection coming from elders that have experience and wisdom. So when the day comes that you no longer have any legitimate authority over them, at that point, the adult child has to decide whether or not they believe what I just told you. And even though their parent has no authority, no leverage over them, okay, they can make a decision as to whether or not they should continue to submit because of the wisdom that has just come out of my mouth. But if your children will not accept that, at that point, all that you have is prayer. If you think they're really going in the wrong direction. But so long as you have leverage over your children, as long as they're in your house and you're supporting them, I'm sorry, brethren. I'm sorry. That is a lot of baloney that they're 18 and they can do whatever they want. And major decisions are theirs. Well, you know I'm talking right to you. Major decisions are theirs, whether or not they want to go on with medication, or take hospital procedures, medical procedures. It's your obligation to tell them what you think they should do in a situation like that. The family's been destroyed in this country. If you have any semblance of family at all, you are blessed. You better hold on to what you have. You never separate from your family. You know? What is this? These lies, you know, that you grow up and you go to school and you get a career and you move to the other side of the world, and maybe you see other family members once a year or something. Brethren, that's not the way God intended it. Family members share their lives. They share their problems and their good times. See? It's an intimacy. It's an intimacy that cannot be maintained when you see each other once a year. See? And that's what our culture is promoting. See? So if you're not citizens of the West, beware that this creeping destruction that's coming for your country, wherever you are, because it's being promoted through the UN. Yeah. Don't let it touch your family. See? Sometimes families are painful. People aren't perfect. They hurt each other. They don't get along, but don't give up, you see. Don't give up. Families are very valuable. And the more the people are in submission to God, the more valuable the families are. You need to fight for your family.